Hey, gentlemen, this is Coach Porter coming from you on Saturday, May 20th here. I figured we were going to try something new today, and what we're going to do is we are going to talk a little defense here. Kind of get your mindsets on what we're doing, where we're going. We've got passing league coming up in a few weeks here, and we just want to get everybody kind of in the mindset of what exactly does our defense look like, what does it sound like, what are some things we should do. So we're going to try to get a jump on this a little bit and go. The first thing you need to know about our defense right now is we run what's called a 4-2-5 defense. We've got 4 down linemen, 2 inside linebackers, and 5 what we want to call defensive secondary guys. It allows us to play fast. It allows us to get downhill. It also allows us to play some athletes in some positions that will provide us some extra speed is what we really want to do, because speed kills and we know that. So we want to play fast, we want to play downhill, we want to play aggressive ball, and I'm going to get into that in a second here. So we are a 4-2-5 defense. We can do some different things. We can align in some different ways to kind of alter our techniques and alter what our defense looks like, but our base is basically a 4-2-5. Some things I want to go over today in our base install number 1. Base install just tells us we're talking about the defense, we're talking about how we play, how we communicate, how we stand, things like that, alignments and assignments and so on and so forth. We have some defensive pillars is what we call them, some things we kind of live and breathe by for our defense, things that we want to accomplish, things that we want to get done. We got about 8 things right here we're going to go through real quick. So if you get a chance, gentlemen who are watching this, go ahead and write these things down. I will supply these later on in Huddle and also in paper form. But I want you to understand as much as you possibly can about our defense so you can be aggressive this summer. You can play fast, you can get going, all right? So let's get going right now. Some of our defensive pillars, we have 8 of them, all right? We want to be a hard-hitting, sure-tackling team. That's what we want to be. We want to get to the ball, 11 guys with a bad attitude, all right? We want to take it out on the other opponent. We want to take it out on the other team. We want them to know that they are not allowed to run that ball. We will not allow them to run that ball. And we're going to force them to pass, and we want them to do that because passing is our strength. By forcing them to run, we force them to pass. And there's 3 things that happen when you pass, and 2 of them are bad, all right? So we want to force the other team to pass because that plays right into our strength. So we have to be a run-stopping team first. We need to be hard-hitting and sure-tackling. Number 2, relentless hustle and pursuit to the ball. By relentless, we mean you do not stop until you get there and that guy is down on the ground and the play has stopped and they have blown the whistle. That's what relentless pursuit is. We want to do what's called rally to the football. We want 11 of our guys in green helmets and jerseys running to the football, full speed, full force, all out, every single play, making sure that there's no possible way at all that that ball carrier or that receiver, whoever it is, can move forward anymore, all right? 3, we want to stop the run. That's what we want to do. Like I said a minute ago, we want to stop the run. If we stop the run, we make them pass, and by making them pass, they play to our strength. If we allow them to run, it just makes our job harder. So we need to make sure that we stop the run, and that is our job first and foremost. Once we stop the run, we can breathe a little bit easier because we know that they're going to do things that help us look good. So stopping the run, number 3. The 4th thing is we want to win the money down. The money down is 3rd down, okay? If we can take away every single 3rd down and make them punt or make them do something they don't want to do, we've essentially helped our offense continually get into a better position to score, okay? If not that, we want to create turnovers, and I'm going to get to that next, so that our defense can score. But we essentially want to stop them. 3 downs and make them punt, okay? If we can stop them in less than 3 downs, then so be it. But our goal is always 3 downs and make them punt. Either make them punt or make them do something they don't want to do. Number 5, we want to create turnovers. We want to strip the ball. We want to intercept the ball. We want to punch the ball out. We want to do everything we can to get that football into our hands, all right? Now, in order to do that, we need to make sure that we're tackling first. We're not just going for strips. We're not going to just to punch the ball out and miss them and let them score a 70-yard touchdown run, okay? We need to make sure that we're smart and aggressive at the same time while creating these turnovers, all right? Anytime the ball is on the ground, it's our ball. Anytime that ball is in the air, it's our ball. We are not allowing anybody to catch the ball or pick the ball up and run and do things like that, all right? Our job is to force turnovers and then get the turnover after we have forced it. Number 6, we got to eliminate big plays, okay? We can't have 2 great downs and then give them a 25-yard play. That pretty much takes away everything we've done, all right? We want to make sure that we eliminate all big plays. A big play to us is anything really over 10 yards. We don't want to allow a 10-yard run or a 15-yard run or a 20-yard pass or a 30-yard run or whatever it is, okay? Anything over 10 yards is a big play in our book. We just don't want to allow that. We need to stop them. And by stopping them, that's where the other ones come in, rallying to the football, hard-hitting, sure-tackling team, stopping the run, okay? We need to win the money down. The money down is third down, and if so be it, the money down is also fourth down. If it's fourth and short, the team decides to go for it. We have to win that down every time. All right, we've got to put it in our mindset. You will not convert first down or convert a touchdown on that third or fourth down. All right, in preparation, we will do that. Essentially, we'll get it done. We need to play with unparalleled excitement and enthusiasm. What that means is that other team can't even match our degree of excitement. They can't even match our degree of enthusiasm. We are so excited and so enthused, and we are so basically hyped up that at the end of the day, they can't even get to this point. They're still down here. When they're excited, they're down here. Our team is always 10 notches above them. We are playing with an enthusiasm to destroy and to wreck everything that they've worked for all week. All right, so we have an unparalleled excitement and enthusiasm that we're playing with. Last but not least, number 8, all right, don't flinch. I don't care what they run. I don't care if they run screen. I don't care if they run draw. I don't care if they run the halfback pass. I don't care if they run the transcontinental pass. I don't care if they have the best wide receiver in the state of Michigan. Okay, we don't flinch. Their guy might be 6'4", 210 and run a 4.4 40, and our guy might be 5'10", 160 and run a 5'2 40. We're not flinching. We're going to put our guy against that guy, and what we're going to say is, you need to show us you're better than us. Okay? You need to respect who we are and what we do, and you need to show us you're better, because if you can't show us you're better, I don't care who you got out there. All right? We're all out all the time. We are a defense that's 100% in your face, coming downhill, and we're going to smack you in the mouth. All right? So the motto we use on defense is all gas, no brakes. We don't need brakes on defense. The offense is the one who needs the brakes. They're the ones who slow the tempo and speed the tempo up and things like that, because they're trying to get us out of a rhythm. All right, we don't need a rhythm. Our rhythm is when that ball's on the line and you look like you're ready to go, we're coming at you right now, and we're going to do what we do. All right, we play defense. That's what we do. Those are our defensive pillars. All right, if you've got any questions on those, I'll send those out soon. I'll get those to you. But that's who we are. That's what we are. That's what we do. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about some keys, things that we need to understand, we need to know. All right. Few of those things, there's 5 of them. Few of those things kind of tell you how to play defense. They tell you what to do, where to line up, things like that. All right, they tell you how to do your job. If you can follow these 5 things, we're going to be successful defense. If you only do 4 out of 5 or 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 or none of them, we're not going to be successful. If you start doing your own thing, then it's not going to help us at all. So we need to understand that we have to follow these principles, these assignments, these alignments, things like that. First thing on our list, all right, the way this is broken up, it's called ASCA. ASCKA, ASCKA, a little acronym for you today. That first A stands for alignment. How far are you off the ball? How wide are you off the ball? Are you a foot outside? Are you 2 feet outside? Are you 4.5 yards deep? Are you as close as possible to the ball? What is your alignment? What is your width? What is your landmark? Where should you be aligned at all times, regardless of whatever you think, okay? In our scouting report, we tell you that you're aligned head up on the guard or inside shade on the guard. That's where you should be at. And you should be using that landmark. You should be using that depth. You should be using that width to align correctly, all right? The next thing on the list, number 2, is stance. How do your feet look in your stance? How do your knees, your waist, your shoulders look in this stance? How do your hands look in this stance? Where is your head at in this stance? Where are your eyes at? Okay, that all comes into play here. There's a whole lot of things that we have to do correctly every single down in order to understand our job and be able to do it correctly. If we don't do those simple things in our stance, then we're not going to be successful, all right? Communication, okay? Everybody on that defense should be communicating. The people on the sideline are communicating. The people on the defensive side are communicating. We always have communication. It's buzzing. Words are flying. Things are happening here, all right? Okay, we're talking about what down is it. We're talking about how many yards do we have to go. So it's 3rd and 10. So everybody's yelling, hey, it's third, it's third, it's third. We got 10 to go, 10 to go. There's the sticks over here. Look, look, look. Okay, what is the strength? Okay? Do we have a pass strength call? Do we have a run strength call? All right? How many receivers do we have? Who should be where doing what? Hey, Joey, I need you to move over a little bit. This is this formation. Things of that sort. All right? What is the strength of their pass? Do they have trips to our left and a single receiver right? We need to be communicating that so everybody knows where to go and what to do. Where are the sticks at? That's huge. It's 3rd and 10 and we don't know where the sticks are at and they convert a 3rd and 10. Now we've got a problem. It's 3rd and 10 and we know where the sticks at and we stop them short a yard and a half or 2 yards. We win that down, which is the money down. Okay? Is it a pass? Is it a run? Where's the ball? Is the ball in the air? Is the ball on the ground? Is it a screen? Is it a draw? Things like that. So we should always be communicating. If there's ever a point you're not communicating, it's because you're not in the game, you're on the sideline, and you're getting a drink. Okay? And even at that point, we're communicating on the sidelines because we're talking about what happened, where'd you go, what did he do, what formation, things like that. Okay? Communication is non-stop on game day. So we have alignment, we have your stance, we have communication. The next one is keys. Every single defensive player on that field has a key. All right? Your key is either a person, or it's an alignment, or it's a formation, but you have a key. You have 2 keys. Your first key is a run key. What do I do if this guy does this? What do I do if this thing happens back here or this person goes here? Okay? So I have a run key. I also have what's called as a pass key. Okay? So we're going to take our devil linebacker for a minute. Devil linebacker, your run key is always your play side guard in front of you. That guard is going to tell you whether it's run or pass. That guard is going to tell you whether it's a down block or a pull block across the center. All right? And a lot of that's going to happen, and based off our scouting report and what we basically educate you on before those games, you're going to know why they do what they do. That guard pulled, you know it's trap, you know you're making your call, and you know it's a run. So this is what we're doing. All right? So that would be your run key. Pass key for most everybody is a high hat of the lineman. If you see the lineman's head go up and you see a pass block, we know it's a pass. All right? So we're looking at different keys to help us because those keys are going to make us play faster. And by playing faster, that means we're 1 step ahead of the offense instead of 1 step behind. So you have to understand your keys on each and every single play. All right? Last but not least, what is your assignment? What's your assignment when the ball comes to you? What's your assignment when the ball goes away from you? And what's your assignment on a pass play? So once again, if I'm the devil linebacker, all right, and the ball comes to me, I know I'm filling hard right now and I'm going to meet him head on, all right, or I'm going to spill it. If the ball's away from me, I know that I'm scraping and I'm looking for certain things to happen. I've got to play through the cloudy, clear windows. I've got to make sure that I get across or through the blocks and I get through those windows as fast as I can so I can help pursuit. If I know it's pass, I know that I take my read step and then I'm going to drop or I'm going to get my hands on number 2 or whatever it is. Okay? Those are some things that I need to know from that particular position of what my assignment is. This is my assignment on this play. And your assignment may change play to play to play to play to play. Okay, one play, it's a run play, the ball comes to me, that's my assignment. One play, the next play, the ball's away from me, I know this is my assignment. The next play, I know, hey, it's a pass. I see the keys that coach talked about. Boom, I got to get to where I got to go on that particular coverage. All right. So, once again, that's alignment, stance, that's communication. What are my keys, and what is my assignment on the run to, run away, or a pass? Last but not least today on our base defensive install number 1. All right, we have our positions in terms of defense goes. When we have the alignments or the techniques, we call them for stance, where we want to align with our D-line, where we want to align with our middle guys, our backers, and our what we call our outside backers or spurs, whatever you want to call them. So we're going to go through alignments real quick here so you can see those. If you can't see them, once again, I'll put these out so you can know. We're going to start with what we call the strong side. This is our strong side. We make this a Louis call right here because we have a tight end over here. So right here, this would be a Louis call. If the strength was over here, this would be a Roger call. Okay, so we have a Louis and a Roger call. Roger means we have a strong right. Louis means we have a strong left in terms of run or formation. Okay, the person that makes that call predominantly is our devil backer. He'll make a Louis or a Roger call. So our devil backer will come to the line. He'll notice the formation based on the scouting report and what we've told him. We want the run strength call to be pertaining to this. He's going to come up. He's going to recognize formation. He's going to recognize strength. He's going to make a Louie Louie call. So he's going to say, Louie, 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 Louie. Everybody will do what they got to do and get to where they got to go. And we'll go from there. Positions in terms of this before I get to techniques here. So we're going to start from the lineman position here. We have a stud defensive end. We call him stud because that's just what we want him to be. We want him to be a stud. That defensive end aligns to the strength call. That guy right there, we want him to be pretty much what the name entails, a stud. We want him to make sure that he's doing his job accordingly. He's not over pursuing. He's not blowing through the line and allowing people through. All right, that is his job, okay? That's the stud. He's defensive end. He's in a three-point stance. We never stand our stud up. 100% three-point stance. We have these two gentlemen in the middle here. These are tackles. Now, we've labeled one an N for nose just because he's a weaker side, but we'll refer to them pretty much, as tackles for the most part. And they're interchangeable. It doesn't really matter. They basically work on the same assignments. They can play a 2I or a 3 or a 2 or whatever. So if we had to interchange them because of personnel situations, it shouldn't be that hard at all. It should be fairly easy. Same with stud and will. We just label certain people in those positions, but honestly, a stud and a will should be able to play anywhere from a 5 to a 9 technique with no problems at all. So our tackles, nose and tackle here, they have a 3, a 2, a 2I. Okay, and we'll talk about that in a second. Our will is our weaker side end. He's also an end that we're looking at doing some pass drops with this year. And what we call our warning set, which is a 3-4 set, which we'll get to down the line here. But our will is our weak side end. He's also in a 3 technique, or he's in a 3-point stance, and he'll play anywhere from a 4 to a 5 technique for the most part. If he gets a tight end to his side, like let's say they run double tights, then he would be forced to also play the same techniques as a stud does. So this guy should be prepared. Once again, all these linemen are in 3-point techniques, or 3-point stances, I should say. Moving on to the secondary portion of this, we have two gentlemen, Bear and our Wolf. Our Bear is probably what I would call our stronger run support, spur or outside backer. He's a position player that we focus on a lot to help stop the run more. He plays on our strong side. If you notice, the stud, the Bear, and the Devil, most of these guys all travel together. All right, so they'll stay in their pod together. So you'll never see really the Devil and the Bear on opposite sides. They're always pretty much on the same side for the most part, give or take any kind of schematic type stuff that we do. So we have our Bear. Our Bear is usually not a kid that we would put inside backer, but he's got decent speed. He can play the run still on the outside. He can play the jet sweeps. He can play the option plays, things like that. But he's not a guy we particularly think could play the inside as much. He's a faster, more agile kid. He can also play some pass coverage as well. So you have to cover the flats, cover the wheel, cover hooks, curls, slants, stuff like that. Over here we have kind of like what would be his step brother would be the Wolf. The Wolf is kind of like a strong safety. A lot of times you'll see the Wolf playing almost like a free safety does, but we will bring him down into the box here or just outside the box where he'll be forced to be in a situation just kind of like Bear. Our Wolf is a kid who could, if we needed to, he could play free safety because he's that kind of kid. But we keep him on that weak side or that boundary side, and that way he can do his job. You'll notice we have our field corner and our boundary corner. Basically, it's more of a labeling thing than it's anything. We expect our corners to be able to play either side. Sometimes we will stick our stronger corner possibly to the field, which helps us out a lot. Our boundary corner gets a little more help because they are to the boundary or to the weaker side. But some teams tend to want to pick on our boundary corner a little bit, so we try to help him out a little bit. All right. Last but not least, we have our free safety. So our free safety and our Devil are basically our biggest communicators on the team. All right. And our free safety is not a traditional free safety. He's not a sit back and cover 3 guy and defend the pass and make sure nobody goes back on him. What he is in our defense is he is basically like our Devil backer. He's a downhill backer. He wants to come downhill on any run based on his keys and his reads, and he wants to smack somebody in the mouth. Our free safety needs to be a physical player. Our free safety needs to be a fast player. Our free safety needs to be agile. Our free safety needs to understand the offense more than probably anybody else on the field because he is a pass and run person, and he is counted on in all aspects. So our free safety is a huge key this year. This kid right here, that player right there, is a huge part. He should almost be leading our team in tackles. That's how important that free safety is this year. This is not a person who's going to sit back here and just play deep. All right, this person right here is highly involved in our run game. That's why we consider this defense great, because for us, it allows us to bring an extra guy up. It allows us to bring that extra player that most teams just sit back and they say, don't let anything get behind you. We're not doing that this year. Our free safety is aggressive and fast and can play the run, and he can play the pass, all right? So once again, to go through the names of these, we have our stud, our tackle, what we call the nose or another tackle. We have our Will, who's the weak side end. We have Devil. Devil will always be on the strong side, okay? We have our Panther, who is our weak side backer. We have our Bear, who's a strong side outside backer or outside spur. We have our Wolf, which is basically like a strong safety on the backside. We can roll him up or we can sit him back in coverage. We have our boundary corner, we have our field corner, and we have our free safety. And that's kind of where we're at right now. In terms of techniques go, these techniques up here are all the techniques that we need to know pretty much in the box. Our secondary doesn't really need to know these techniques. It's good to know them if you do, but if you don't, that's okay. I'm going to start from the left of the center here. Whenever we're basically on that center, we call head up on the center is a zero technique. So you are head up on the center. So if we were to put our tackle into what we call a zero tech, okay, he would be head up on the center. The screws of his helmet, even with the screws of the center's helmet. To either side of that center, we have shades. We have a one shade to the strong side and a one shade to the weak side. All right, so if we wanted to take our tackle and put him in a shade, he would take basically his eye, his inside eye, we'll call it, on the center's eye right there. So that's how tight we will play our techniques. Okay, his inside eye on his eye right there. If we take him off and go into a two eye, that tackle's outside eye would be on the guard's inside eye. That's how tight our techniques are. And this is extremely important because you have to be that tight. We can't have a tackle who's supposed to be in a two eye technique over here. That's too loose. We want to be so tight to our technique that that guy can't breathe. That's how tight we are. All right. So what we have here once again is we have a two eye tech. That would be inside eye. We have a two tech is head up. We have a three tech, which is outside eye. All right. We have a four eye. Four would be head up. We have a five, which is outside. We have a seven, which would be inside eye, the tight end. We have an 8, which is head up, and we have a 9, which is outside eye. Okay. Now, if we wanted our guys, especially our stud and our Will, to get wide, okay, we would probably call like a 9 wide. That's acceptable here, because then we can tell them, hey, widen out. Maybe we want to pass rush the edge, or maybe we see a play that they're running where we can widen them out a little bit there and help out. But for the most part, our techniques need to be as tight as possible. All right, we need to be as tight as possible there. The weak side is the same. Or the boundary side is the same, okay? All the shades are the same. The only difference is you don't have a tight end to that side. If you had a tight end over here, you'd have the same ones going that way. So we have a 1 on the shade, a 0. We have a 2-eye on the inside. We have a 2. We have a 3 on the outside of the guard. 4-eye on the inside of the tackle. 4 is head up, and then we have a 5 technique. All right. So for our intro to our base defense, we've talked about our pillars. We've talked about some key components that will help us play faster and ensure that we're doing our job correctly and communication-wise. We've talked about position names, and we've talked about the techniques, and we've talked about how we call run strength. Okay, Louis to the left, Roger to the right. In terms of pass strength, we use Rip and Liz. So in terms of pass strength, if the pass strength is to our defensive left, we would make a Liz, Liz, Liz call. Liz tells us that their pass strength is there. Rip tells us their pass strength is to the right. And depending on how we scheme for a particular team will depend on how we call those certain things. All right, so that's where we're at. That's the install of the defense. If you have any questions or concerns, or you want to know more about it, you know where to reach me at. I'll also get some stuff on Huddle and get some stuff into your hands as soon as possible. I'm going to put out another install in a little bit here in terms of some particular things that you need to know for coverages and stuff for the summer, and we'll kind of go from there, all right? Other than that, I'm looking forward to the next few months of getting prepared for the season. And we'll go from there, all right? Everyday Penfield football. Let's go, brothers.